So the Penguins lose last night. That's really not an accurate way of describing it. The Penguins got eviscerated last night, down 3-0 after one. And Tristan Jarry gives up 4 goals on the first 11 shots. Would have been 5 out of 12 if they didn't overturn one of the goals on a ticky-tack offsides call. So the goalie, who we know stunk. The Penguins, who had problems giving up goals early and late in periods last year, did it 3 times in this game. Gave up a goal within the first 3 minutes and then 2 goals within the final 3 minutes of the first period. Penguins, 29th ranked power play in the league last year. They've started 0 for 3 now, and they've given up a shorthanded goal. So all the places where the Penguins were seemingly deficient last year, in one game, they were deficient in again. The Steelers, sitting here at 3-2, their offense last year. At this point, what was it, 17 points a game? Now it's 18 points a game.
Right.
So they're average and they're bad offensively. Think about the Pirates. 76 wins last year, 76 wins this year. What do all 3 of these franchises have in common? There are a lot of differences, fair enough, but what do these franchises all have in common, Dorin? What do you think?
They stink.
Yes.
What do they all have in common? The same philosophy. The same philosophy for years and many years. And the Penguins and the Steelers have found that philosophy and found themselves winning at one point, but they haven't changed. The Pirates don't know what their philosophy is, but they are not going to change, clearly.
Shelton back.
Yep.
GM Charrington back.
They fire Andy Haynes. The Penguins fire Todd Reardon.
Steelers fire Matt Canada.
Steelers fire Matt Canada. Scapegoats to the actual issues.
That's where I am, man. We talked about this during the offseason. When I was out for paternity leave, you talked to Pat Bostic about this. We were talking about it off air. You brought this up to me before the show. Like, this could be a little bit of a dark ages here for Pittsburgh sports, and it's because each of these franchises has been married to mediocrity, and it's not just that they're married to mediocrity. They don't see it that way, but there's a comfort in knowing if you're Art Rooney II, Mike Tomlin is steering your ship. If you're the Fenway Sports Group, you love Mike Sullivan. And if you're the Pirates, now you're going into what, year 6 with Derek Shelton and Ben Charrington? How can you hope for things to change when your leadership stays the same? That's why I come in today, I feel defeated. You watched the Penguins last night, and again, it's one of 82 things I guess could change, but why would we expect it to change? You bring Tristan Jarry back. He was one of the big issues last year, has been 4 years, never won a playoff series. You handed him a bag of cash, then he can't play down the stretch. When he's healthy, the backup's outplaying him. You bring him back. With the Steelers, I think they tried to change a lot this offseason from a roster standpoint, right? And you got rid of the offensive coordinator during the season last year, but the head man's the same and the philosophy's the same. And I'm so down because he's going to be here until he doesn't want to be here anymore. And he's a good coach and would go and have success someplace else. I have no doubt about that, but they found their ceiling now with Mike Tomlin. And without Ben Roethlisberger, it's 9-8. It's 10-7. It's getting your doors blown off in the playoffs, and they were even doing that with Ben. The Penguins haven't won a playoff series since 2018, but hey, nothing to see here. Mike Sullivan's the right guy. He's not going anywhere until he doesn't want to be here anymore. Nothing's going to change. When's the next time the Penguins are going to be good? I don't know.
Not for a while.
Not for a while.
The thing that bothers me is the mediocre mentality of all 3 teams. And the mediocre mentality meaning that the ownership of all 3 teams is okay with what being an owner does entail instead of winning. And what an owner entails is making money. And all 3 of these teams know that they have a vessel to make the money that makes them mediocre. So if you win, you lose, it doesn't matter because you know that you're going to sell tickets because of Paul Skeens. You know you're going to sell tickets because of Sidney Crosby, because of Evgeny Malkin, because of Chris Letang. You know you're going to sell tickets because they're the Steelers. They're the brand.
And you're going to be in it until the end of the season every year.
They're fine with it as long as they make money.
Yep.
And that's where all three of their mentalities are. Tell me, Fenway Sports Group wanted to acquire the Pittsburgh Penguins because they thought that they could have a winning franchise. No, they acquired because they know that 87 will make them money. They know that they have a brand. They don't, wins and losses, yeah, and that might go away. That does happen. I don't know if it will in Pittsburgh, but in some cities, you'll see a big-time brand go away because of losing. You will see that, but I don't know if that'll ever happen here in Pittsburgh because of who they have to sell them tickets.
Yeah, you figure your Fenway Sports Group, you get the Penguins, and for the first fill in the blank many years, you're going to have Sidney Crosby, and people are going to pay the price of admission to go watch that guy. And he's going to sell jerseys, and you kept the gang back together. Why? Because you know it was good enough to almost get you there last year. And I don't know that they're banking on getting there this year, but they're banking on being in it again. 1 through 82. Penguins last 2 years, they were a bubble team, so you were never really out of it at any point. Same with the Steelers. Never really out of it. And the Pirates, they view it as, let's get to the deadline, let's give ourselves a chance, let's be competitive. But competitive for them apparently is 76 wins. 2 straight years, and you got the general manager coming up to the podium after the season saying, we've made strides. Well, the most important place to make strides would be the win-loss record. And you got Detroit with a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs, and here they are.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's very frustrating, and it's beyond frustrating. It's actually soul-sucking as a Pittsburgh sports fan right now, because I think very rarely the fans know better. I think in all these instances, the fans know better than who's running the organizations right now. Like Arthur Smith, you and I were higher on that hire than anybody else was. Mike Tomlin still is the guy who has the mission statement. You still have to kowtow to his demands.
Right.
He still wants to play a certain way. And so, at best, the way that they want to win football games, you can do what Tennessee did a couple of years ago. And you can go to an AFC championship game. You're not winning a ring. Baltimore's got a quarterback that's won 2 MVPs. Might be on his way to a third with the way he's playing right now. But they want to run the ball. They want to play defense. And in the playoffs, they've hit their head on the AFC championship ceiling. The way the Steelers want to play, best case scenario is it doesn't win you a Super Bowl. They've raised the floor. The ceiling is the floor. They're touching each other.
Yep.
It's like one of those tiny houses. You wouldn't be able to fit in it, Dorin.
Nope.
And the Penguins, it's the same thing. The Penguins, you can at least explain away a little bit because they won 3 championships with their captain, 2 of them with the coach. I don't agree that you need to keep the coach, but I can at least entertain their argument. Their championship's more recent than the Steelers' most previous championship, which was, don't look now, in 2008. So I sit here and I wonder if any Pittsburgh sports fans that are listening right now are more optimistic about one franchise than the other, if they have any hope overall. And we're talking about the pro teams. Because Pitt's going in the right direction with football, obviously, sitting here at undefeated. The men's basketball program has some momentum. You got volleyball, a lot of good things going on at Pitt. But as far as pro in this town is concerned, do people have any kind of hope? If so, where's the hope? 412-928-9370.
And it's not even just the hope now, but the hope for the future. Like, to me, it's not even just about the hope this year or even next year. It's about 10 years. Like, can you see through a clear window where that there would be hope 5 years from now for any of these organizations? I mean, Sidney Crosby's going to retire. Malkin's going to retire. Letang's going to retire. Skeens is going to be coming up on the end of his deal in 5 years. Are they really going to make the right moves and necessary moves to surround him in the next 5 years? I don't think so. The Steelers, what are they going to be? They're going to be a quarterback purgatory if they don't figure this situation out and have to go to the draft in a year or two and have another rookie quarterback that you missed on 2 years ago.
Who's the Steelers' best player in 3 years? Maybe T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt, yeah.
Who's their quarterback in 3 years? No clue.
No idea.
No clue.
Zero idea.
Who's the Penguins'
T.J. Watt
best
probably
player
will
in 3
retire
years?
in 3 years, I guarantee. I guarantee that right now.
He's not a young guy. And if you're going to be hitting your head on 9 and 8 every year,
yeah.
Why are you risking your body? 412-928-9370. The phone lines are exploding right now. We got this tweet here from Zach, who is a regular listener of the show. He said, I went to bed last night thinking about what you guys are talking about. Love this segment very much. I don't love it, Zach. It's something that needs to be talked about, but I don't love it. Hey, Paul Skeens gives me the most hope out of any player on any of these three teams right now, because hockey's a young man's sport. I mean, they all really are. Your best defensive player your best overall player, I should say, being an edge rusher ain't great for you in the NFL. You'd like that guy to be your quarterback. But with Skeens, we know what the budget's going to be, and it doesn't preclude you necessarily from winning. But you need to make the right moves within that budget, and Ben Cherington has now shown for 5 years that he can't. I'm looking, guys, for a bright spot. You know, even Pony last night tweeted, I don't have high expectations for the Penguins this year, but you get to watch Sid every night. That's what we've been reduced to.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with the Pirates. Like, okay, is it a Skeens day? Great. Is Jared Jones pitching? Okay, maybe it's worth watching in the second half of the year. But if they're not winning games, like 1 out of every 5th day, you make an appointment viewing. Other than that, not so much. So where are the silver linings? Where are the bright spots? What gives you hope? Or do you have no hope? 412-928-9370. Nice, light morning show topic for all the people.
Just honest, though.
It is.
Just being honest. And you would love for these organizations to be honest with themselves, too, and make the appropriate moves to get out of what they're in right now and just kind of have a clear vision of reality. And that's where we're at. It is what it is.
Hooray.